So I just finished shooting a video going through Revelation chapter 2 and 3, doing some kind of quick level inductive Bible study because I'm preaching through the 7 churches of Revelation over the next couple of months. And I wanted to dig into that idea, but what I want to show you is a kind of a quick chart that I made to talk about what I was reading and seeing and trying to understand in the book of Revelation. So yeah, just did a quick shoot of the books I'm using. I'm going to have another video out about those, but I want to show you something real quick. So I pulled out my old ESV panorama Bible to use because this is all about relationships. So you can see right here, the end of this video is actually going to be like a long time lapse of that. But just these are all the relationships that I saw, and I made this little chart. Now, I'm not expecting you to be able to read my handwriting, but you can see I've kind of given myself a key down here for the different things I see recurrences, and then I made a chart of all the 7 churches, and then all the things I saw recurrences for. And I just gave them an X, just to where I saw them, where they recur more and more and more again, and how this will just work out. So what that is showing structural relationships. Now, structural relationships are not always important as we think they might be, but structural relationships can be pretty important in certain places. I think especially when we're talking about narratives, longer narratives in the Old Testament. I think sometimes we look at the teachings of Jesus, these structural relationships are important. These chapter 2 and chapter 3 of Revelation, and really we probably could have pushed it into chapter 1, but I'm not going to be preaching any through chapter 1, so I didn't want to do this. But there is a massive amount of structural relationships that are there. Now, sometimes when I preach series, and I'm not a expository preacher so much, individual messages I think actually are fairly expository, but I don't rarely go as in-depth for a long chunk, like spending 7 weeks on 2 chapters of Scripture. That's not something I normally do, but for this I am. And I think especially if you are going to get into expository preaching, where sometimes the critique is that people go way too deep into like single ideas and single words and don't pull back enough to look at the whole larger passage, chapter, pericope, something like that. I think if you're doing any sort of thing at that level, I think making a quick structural relationship chart like this can be helpful. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to drop on a time lapse of all 35 minutes of me marking that up. If that's the sort of thing that you like to do, you can watch that. And if not, you can just kind of dip out here. So I'm Chad Brooks. I make videos about the Bible, the spiritual life, and the everyday life of a pastor. And this is video 1 in a couple series on what I'm doing as I'm teaching through Revelation chapters 2 and 3. I'll see you back in the next video. I'll walk you through the books I'm using as my primary resources in this message series.